Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to March. Happy Mardi Gras. As you can see, I got my cheap plastic beads. Mardi Gras is actually over. Mardi Gras was on Tuesday when I originally scheduled this stream, and then quickly realized that I would not be in the house at that time. For those of you who are not aware, Mardi Gras is both a day, it's the Tuesday before Lent starts. Mardi Gras is French for Fat Tuesday. It's also a season. So, like in Louisiana, there will be Mardi Gras balls, there'll be parties. There's also multiple parades leading up to it. There's Lundi Gras, which is the Monday before Mardi Gras as well. Um, if you've seen video from New Orleans, it is not like that where I am. It is still like a really big deal, but it is very family friendly, very kind of chill for the most part, and just kind of simple fun. And so I did that with my kids this weekend, this Tuesday, I should say, and Saturday, Monday as well. A lot of fun. Like I said, you get lots of these cheap plastic beads. There's a pile on our dining room table right now that I'll probably like every day pick up a couple and just throw them away so the kids don't really notice. Outside of that, I am still looking for my next job. I had two interviews today where I had to be intelligent and pretend like I knew things, and that was pretty fun. I actually have another one tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Can't wait. Still really looking forward to the day when we could do a code stream. And my next one is March 18th, actually. Uh, and say, hey, I'm no longer begging y'all for a job here. I am working at So Forth. And hopefully that will happen soon. Thank you to my regulars who know that I really, really like it when folks say hi. Um, hello, Vidya. Hopefully, I said your name correctly. And hello to anybody and everybody else who may be watching. I think you're in for a fun stream today, and I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about this. But let me kind of get to the intro stuff, and then we'll start talking about the main topic. Let me just do this. Like that. And then show my screen. There we go. All right. So first and foremost, my thanks go to my sponsor, once again, jam.dev. They are a tool to make it easier to get bug reports for your web applications. If you've ever had to work with non-technical people and getting them to help you provide information when they encounter a bug, JamDevDev can really help because it includes all the DevTools information, all that technical data, and also gives you integration into Jira, GitHub, etc. I'm actually planning fairly soon to talk about this more in depth in a actual session. It's been on my to-do list for quite a while. But my thanks go to them for sponsoring this show and making it a little bit easier for me to talk to y'all. Also, hey, huge shout out to Brian Rinaldi. He's not here today, so he won't hear any of this. But for giving me this show and this platform, I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Let's get into the meat of what we're talking about today, and that is React. And I have to say, I was really hesitant on calling this session I Don't Like React. Let's learn React. Because if you've been in tech long enough, then you know that you see a lot of people saying, I hate X, I hate Y. And hate is a very strong word. Like, I can't imagine that if you hate something in tech, that like at night you're thinking about it. Hopefully, you're not thinking about it. So, I absolutely do not hate React at all. Um, but I can say in my years of looking at it casually, there's parts of it that just didn't make sense to me. That didn't click with me, and I thought that was fine. First, a couple things. If you don't like something in tech, you're allowed to not say it. Like you're allowed to just move on with your life. You don't have to go on your socials and say, "Oh, I don't like so and so." Just don't use it. And I also looked at React as an option, like way of building a web application. And there's multiple ways of doing that. And my expectation is that for everybody, when you look at those options out there, there are some that will just make sense, that will click, that will work good with your team. If you're working with, let's say, multiple people and you have to figure out amongst a bunch of people which thing works best. And so, obviously, React has done that for a lot of people. It's incredibly popular. It never really clicked with me. I was more a Vue person and more Vue 2, to be honest, than Vue 3. Um, so I never got around to learning it, and I keep encountering tools that will ship web components only for React, and I have a huge problem with that, especially since you can ship a vanilla web component that can be used in React and other frameworks. That being said, I keep seeing things that are React only, and I figure I really need to add this to my tool belt, or at least just figure out the basics, hello world type stuff, and just see if we can make it work. And maybe I won't dislike it when I'm done, or maybe I will. Who knows? I'll also say I have been not really anti-framework lately, but I have never liked the thinking in the web community at some point that every time you start a web project, you need a framework, because you absolutely do not always need a framework when you're starting something like this. It is a tool that you can lean on. It's a thing that can help when you're building a large project. That shouldn't be your default, you know? Uh, yes. Oh my God. Amen. Is it really a web component if it only works in one framework? Now, A, 100% yes. B, to be fair, like when I've encountered this, like, oh, we have a React component. Normally they say it like, yes, this is our React component. They're not saying this is our web component. So it's not really false advertising per se. I just wish that when a company is deciding to build a UI component for the service, I wish that they would build it generic, and then say, hey, here's how you use it in React, here's how you use it in Vue, here's how you use it in vanilla, etc. That's the way I would do things if I ran the world. But if I ran the world, I'd also have a job right now. So that tells you something. So this has been in my plan for like 4 or 5 months now. I'm really am excited about it. If you were at my last stream, you heard my excitement about it. It's like, as much as I don't think this is for me, I really am excited about actually kind of building something. And so what my thinking is, what like my plan is that I want to see how quickly we can get like Hello World running. Just, roll simple thing like that. I want to build a application that wraps the dad joke API. So it'll get a random dad joke and have a button to load a new one. Now, that's absolutely not something you need a framework for at all. But I like that it gives me kind of like something to build. Like, this is what I'll do with React, even if it's not terribly appropriate for it. And then the next stage that I want to do is, I think, a bit more appropriate. And it's something that I have built in the past multiple times in PhoneGap and Ionic as well. And that is an application that I called I Need It. Just kind of a dumb name, but so Google has an API for points of interest, and it is specific to a location and specific to a type. So you could say, hey, I'm at this location, tell me all the restaurants. So I had built, and again, multiple times as a way of learning, I had built this app called I Need It that would start with A, get your location so we know where you are. B, here's a list of categories, so you pick what you want, and the Google API supports that. And you pick bar, restaurant, gas station, whatever. And then the next screen is, okay, based on where you are, here's all the options. And I've even gone even more complex than that, where you can click for a detailed view of, let's say, a particular restaurant, and then see their open hours, rating, whatever. So I feel like that actually would be kind of appropriate for React, because it has these multiple views, it has state that needs to carry over, etc., and so forth. So that is my thinking, and let's say hopefully 1 or 2 sessions, and we'll get that done, and I'll share it on my blog as well. So when I was scheduling all this with my buddy Brian, he said, "Well, you picked an interesting time to do it because there's a little bit of drama in the React community. You may not know this, but sometimes in the web community or in the development community, there's drama. Sometimes I think people love drama, and so apparently the drama was that there was a core way to create a React application, and they're getting rid of it. And instead, they're going to encourage you to use a framework. And I thought React was a framework, but maybe your framework needs a framework. So you can somebody should build a framework for frameworks for frameworks. Uh, so here's a blog post about it in case you're curious to read more about it. It's on the main React site, which by the way is react.dev. Um, but if you want to read, let's see if I made a link for this. I did not. You can read more about this, but they do talk about, what if you are just learning and do. So I don't really care about why they got rid of Create React because I'm not using it anymore. Uh, we recommend building new React wraps with the framework. I don't want to do any of that. Uh, but at the very end, here we go. If your app has unusual constraints or prefer to solve these problems by building your own, or you just want to learn how React, which they typoed, works from scratch, you can roll your own custom setup via with React with using V. So I will put on my judgy hat here and say that this feels like a major problem with the React ecosystem, and this is me 2 seconds in to learning it. But if you don't know how people should start, I feel like that's an issue. Let's see what the Learn React does. Welcome to the React documentation. This page will give you introduction to 80% of the React components that you will use on a daily basis. So we are already going for a while, and as Sue says, CRIs had been no bueno for a while, so I guess it's been dead man walking for a while. Oh, and their docs were absolute crap for quite a while too. So, like I said, I picked a great time to learn React, right? Okay, so we are in the quick start. We're going to learn some React, right? All right. Creating and nesting components. React apps are made of components. That makes sense. Components is a piece of UI that has its own logic and appearance. Again, coming from my experience with Vue.js, their components were UI and behavior. That makes sense. Now, I will say right here, JavaScript functions that return markup. This is 100% the reason why I always didn't like React. Like, I just don't like that. But I am getting over it. Like, because this is the very first code sample, I'm fine. I am just going to swallow that. I don't care. And that looks relatively simple. I am a bit put off by the fact that it hasn't told me how to install React or how to use React. It hasn't given me a place to run this. That's kind of fairly standard for, I would say, how you would do this. But okay, we'll just keep reading. Now that you have declared my button, you can nest it another component. That makes complete sense. Oh, and I was complaining about being able to run it. Here we go. So yeah. So they have an application. It's using my button. And let's see if this is a live update. Oh, it is a live update. Very nice. Makes total sense. So let's see if we could break this. Place kit. We'll put a cat picture on top like that. And adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped. So I kind of did that on purpose. I know in Vue and heck, even Alpine has things where the top level item has to be like a root tag. So we'll just wrap that in div. Divs solve everything. Oh, I have to close the image tag. Okay. All right. And place kitten is down. I'm not too worried about that. Let me see if I was right about needing one root element. I was. Yep, must be wrapped and then closing up. That's fine. Yeah, I wish Place Kitten still worked. I used that so much. All right, so great. I like this kind of live view. I do wish it had told me how to start. Uh, to export default. Yeah, that makes sense. I like the fact that this component was just a function. Like I dig that. It's not anything really complex. I'm assuming it's going to get more complex, but I like that. It is JSX. It is optional, but most React projects use JSX. Again, I don't like it, but I'm gonna roll with it. As we found out, it is stricter than HTML. You must close tags. Fine. I will say, like, one thing that kind of worries me is I know that there are some HTML tags where if you accidentally wrap them, it does weird things to the DOM. But again, I'm going to get over it. You must wrap them. Oh, or an empty wrapper. That looks wacky. I would still use div, I think. You React, you specify a class with a class name, not class. Okay, I guess that's a weird thing I'll get over with. And displaying data, you could put markup in there. Yeah, so every template language has its own thing. I do kind of wish they would agree on something. That'd be nice, but okay, one bracket. You can also escape into JavaScript, but you have to use curly braces instead of quotes. Didn't you just do that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, this was a value passed into the H1, and this is being used as an attribute. Don't use quotes. I understand. Yep, that makes sense. All right. Yep. Straight, a simple little JavaScript object, a profile, and yeah, I don't like that. But again, I'm going to have to get over it. Oh, yeah. ChatGPT, please provide a minimal React example. Include installation documentation. Oh, I'm very curious. Like, okay, if we look at the table of contents here, there is no installation. It's way down here. Like to me, a quick start really has to have it. But that's all right. That's all right. There's no syntax for writing conditions. For example, you can use an if. So yeah. Okay. I don't like the fact that you can't do conditions in the template language. I feel like that makes it messier, and to me, it kind of removes the benefit of having that. But okay, we will make note of this. I'm using the royal we, of course. We'll make note of this. And yeah, I'm like, if this worked, yeah, I am not going to remember that. I will tell you that right now. It is logged in and add, but yeah, all right. Okay, I can actually imagine having this and then right after having a not is logged in. All right, so how do we do looping? You use a for loop. Again, I don't like the fact that you can't do it in the template language. Like Vue.js, it has a key property. That way, when data changes, yep. This all makes sense to me. And yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of inline conditionals. Yeah. I'm not having regret. I promise. We can do this. We can do this. All right. Responding to events on click. That's fine. I do like how Vue and like Alpine both have kind of shortcuts for that, like the at symbol. But we'll see. Updating the screen. I haven't heard people say screen in a while, but all right. Often you'll want your component to remember some information in display. For example, you want to count the number of times a button is clicked. To do this, you add state. So we will have to import something to use state. I am fine with that. And then I declare my variables that will use state. I'm assuming that 0 is maybe an initial value for that. Oh, you got multiple variables there. It's actually the variable and a function that lets you update it. You can get many names, but the convention is something set something. All right. So far, so good. That makes, okay. I can dig it. And I am curious, why is the state not the same? Oh, because I have two instances of the button. Yes, that does make sense. All right. By the way, how many of you in the room are React people and are just like screaming at me to go faster? All right, hooks. I have definitely heard of hooks. Functions starting with use are called hooks. Use state is a built-in hook provided by React. Hooks are more restrictive. You can only call hooks at the top of your components. If you want to use state condition, extract the new component and put it there. I'm already getting confused, but yes, okay, that made sense. You'll often need to share data to make my button components display the same count. You need to move the state from the individual buttons upwards to the closest component containing all of them. This example is my app. All right, that makes sense. So my app has a state for the count, not the component. That kind of makes sense. So let's see how they changed it. Oh, they moved the use state to the higher level. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Although I don't necessarily think I like handle click not being in my button, but all right. Then pass the state down from my app to each my button. And oh, okay, yeah. This kind of clicks. React takes some time to getting used to. Yeah, it's this is different. But I feel any moment now we're going to build an application. I know, even though we're at the end. When you click the function, they'll click. Yeah, this all makes sense. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So all right, my tutorial. Let's see if this has installation, and I feel like there's a lot of good syntax examples in here. I do like this. Let's look at the tutorial and see how easy it is to get started. Setup for the tutorial will give you a starting point. We're building a tic-tac-toe game. I'm skimming, obviously, and we're still. You can also follow this tutorial using the local development. You will need install Node.js in the code sandbox. Then choose, I don't want to do all this. God, no. So let's skip this and let's go to Vite create React migration guide. I haven't used Vite in a while, but I liked it a lot. A quick migration. First install Vite and all the React libraries. So yeah, let's do that. And I have actually, let's go into my editor. All right, and y'all in the room, let me know if this is too big. I have a folder called Learn React. We'll make a dir called app1. We'll go into it. Make that text a little bigger already. And let's just blindly install everything. All right. You're installing. You seem to be not going terribly quick. I'm not worried at all. Let's see. Oh my God, there's my node modules. All right, cool. So it did that. We installed it. All right. Second, uninstall GreenRax dependency. Oh my goodness, this is I'm withholding judgment. There we go. Boom, did that. In theory, you can make like an alias for this, I guess, and get used to it. And then adjust your package.json to use these, to use Vite. All right, I can get behind that. Package.json. Let's actually copy the scripts completely. There's no scripts section at all. All right, cool. We got that. Fourth, rename all extensions of files which are used. I thought we were doing like a new project. Oh, we're not, because we have, no, we don't have anything. Rename all extensions of files we're using from JS to JSS because Vite is explicit with file extensions. All right, I am not. Fifth, create a Vite config file. All right, viteconfig.js. New file, vite.config. Was it JS? Yes. And add the following implementation. Essentially, we want to keep the same output directly for the build as we had before. Don't know what it was before, so that's fine. Let's save it. And then 6, move the public index.h. I don't have any of that. So did I miss a step? Oh, this is assuming. Oh, okay. You know what? This is assuming that you already had a React application. Let's see if we have a starting from scratch. How to start a React project. All right. We're just going to pretend that I started there. All right. So this is why Vite. I don't care. We've already decided that we're doing yes. Re has advantages. React with Next. You seriously are not going to just tell me how to start a project with Vite? How to start a React project. All right. If you are starting out to learn React from the educator, stick to Vite with React because it says, all right. So where is Vite with React? Go back up to the top. These are all the reasons for it. His book starts with his or her book, not Robin, his or her. In contrast, yeah, these are all the advantages. So you want to tell me how to start with Vite? This is the same thing, how to migrate. Let's go to this person's blog homepage. Oh, Langshang is really darn cool, by the way. Getting started, how to learn React. Okay, how to start a React project. We were just there, right? Yeah, we were just there. So this is not telling me how to start a React project. It's telling me what I should use. How to learn React in 2025. This could be a very, look at your comments. Look at my, Sue, look at like over here. If so, I'm not seeing anything specific. You may be seeing something that I am not. If somebody gave me a precise tip, I would greatly appreciate it. Like, I feel like I am so missing something very, very simple here. I mean, we could Google npm create Vite. All right, I will take that. Now, my question to you, Sue, or to anybody in the room, like, was that shown and I missed it somewhere? Oh, wrong window. Let's get out of app 1. We'll consider app 1 dead to the world. Make their app 2 cd app 2, and as Sue said, npm create Vite at latest. Except, is that going to make React though? Well, let's see what this does. Yes, I'm already in a folder. Project 1. I probably should have done this. Oh, there we go. All right. I like TypeScript. Let's pick JavaScript. for now. All right. So my folders are a bit nested here. I'm not going to worry about that. It's scaffolded the thing. We have a thing. Yay. And we're doing our install. Thank you, Sue. And we have disagreements here now. Vidya saying do template. Oh, no, not. I'm sorry. Not, Eric is saying template React. Eric, would you mind running the full command that you would have used there? And as he does, let's close what we have and go into the new project. And I see a Vite config. I see a bunch of stuff. Vite plus React. And we have, let's do the dev script. Just see what happens. npm run dev. Local, it's running on localhost already. And that went to the wrong window. Let me try this real quick. Get that active and click. Oh my goodness, stop going over there. 1 second. Let me pop you in. Pop you in right there. All right. So let me close some stuff here so I can see all smart people talking. All right, so we have our React application, edit source, and the taste edit the save test HMR hot module reloading. I know that. Looking at the source folder, app.js. This looks just like what they showed in the tutorial, with a big bunch of logo and stuff on top. All right, I am disliking less that little empty DOM element there. I could probably live with it. Let's get rid of this junk. Make it a bit more streamlined. And there we go. It reloaded quickly. All right, cool. Yeah, so this gels with what they talked about in the docs. We see this running for the most part. Yeah, okay. And I do want to, let's see what Eric did. I think you got to the same place with prompts, but npm create vs is okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So in the real world where I'm doing this like every day, I would make notes of this, make my own alias. In fact, you know what, Eric? I am going to, and Sue, make a new file called notes.txt. I'm going to write down what Sue said. npm create, where was it? Vite.latest, where it's going to prompt you. This will prompt. And Eric, I will not assume this is perfect, but we'll have it for next time I want to try something. Vite@latest. And then we'll call this folder project name. And then 2 dashes dash template React. We'll try that next time we do this, and we'll see what happens. Cool. So going back to our little application, I'm just going to look around here. We have an index.html file. So I guess if I want to change the title, I could do that there. Change the meta, whatever. I see it loading main.jsx, which I would guess is probably boilerplate. Like, okay, I probably never touched this, and I see where it's figuring out what to grab. Get element by ID root. Let's go back to that index.html. There's the ID equals root. So yeah, so if I was building React, like not as a full page application, but as part of something else, I would just change where my ID equals root, or change the configuration there. Okay, yeah, sort of get it. Index.css. Yep, my CSS file. Not really sure how app.css differs. Maybe if I dig deeper into documentation. Something else that I think would be nice is if React said, like, when you scaffold the basic skeleton application, these are the files that we make, and this is their purpose. Because I really dislike having things that I don't know what they're doing. Assets, that's where the image is loaded. No big surprise there, which I got rid of. Yeah, there we go. And Visual Studio Code is nicely dimming them to remind me that I'm not actually using them. I won't worry about that now. There is a public folder, so maybe assets do something a little bit different. They're more powerful versus public probably being just a static file load. All right, so we have an application running. I kind of understood what I was doing. So let's see if we can get a simple component like they were showing in the quick start. Um, and you know what? I like the basic like this function. So I'm gonna write a function and call it cat. And I'm gonna write some JSX because I'm cool like that. And I will adopt their little framework, their little way of doing it, and we will say H1 meow. um, I'm a cat. Okay. And now in theory, I can just add cat component. What happened? Did I break it? I didn't break it. Look, I'm a React developer. I am a React developer. I'm going to go on LinkedIn and add it to my skills now and probably get a job offer like that. So let's actually, I feel like I barely know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go ahead and try to do this dad joke thing. Well, get rid of the assets I'm not using. I'm going to comment out the state now, although that's going to break things, but that's all right. I'm just going to comment out everything I don't need, but I want to keep it around so I don't forget. And I'm getting error messages. Can you not do comments in JSX? Let's see. How to comment stuff in JSX. Don't use that. Oh, so yeah, that is wonkatated. So it was saw like that. No, I can't. Oh yeah, slash star. All right. Slash star verse and then I think brackets maybe like that. Eh? Or no, I need brackets. All right. We will keep figuring this out. And then if I reload, didn't break it. Sweet. Let's actually look at this. Yeah, that's a weird. That's weird. Press Command Plus and it'll put the comments in the right way. All right. Is that a? Do you know if that is? Let's test this. Let's see if she's right. Control Plus. Oh, Control. You meant Control and slash. Well, look at that. Sue, do you know if that is React only or if that's just a key combo for VS Code that I haven't used before? Because that's darn handy. I like that. All right, so we can minimize this a little bit. So, yeah, how? Yeah, Sue says it's VS Code. Okay, cool. So my application, when it starts up, it needs to immediately do a call to the dad joke API. So I'm not going to worry about the API. I'm going to worry about when my application starts, I want to do a function and I will call the function get dad joke API, dad joke, just get dad joke. And for right now, we will return joke. We'll make this real in a bit. So then my next question is using React, how do I say, when you start up immediately run this to get the information? So actually, I wonder, that is using count. I wonder what happens if I just do div and just do a call to it as Studio offered? There's no way it's that easy. It is. It's that easy. All right. Let's get rid of cat so it's less messy. So that's, I didn't quite answer the question, like what to do on startup. I know like Vue.js, for example, has, it's been a while. It has a way to say like when you start up, like run this, when the component loads, but I'm fine for this for now. That is just pointing to. So the question would be then how to make it load a new one. And let's do this. I want to see if it's actually, running. It can't be that easy because that would be crazy. On click equals. Can I just say get dad joke? Dad joke. Come on. New joke. I feel like that syntax may be wrong, but code's not complaining. That did not work, so I did something wrong. To be a function, not it's like a literal, like, I guess I could see like this. Guess I was looking for more of a shorthand. That's clear. Let's reload it again. You're definitely not working because you're not updating. So let's go back to that quick start where responding to events. On click equals, oh, yeah. So bracket, let's keep it. I thought I had that, but I had the parentheses in there. I think that was the issue. Well, come on now. I know you're working. For the heck of it. Let's add an alert here. So go back there. Yep. Yes, it is working. That's interesting. So it's firing, and actually I should have set an alert. I should have just did console.log hitting the API, even though we're not. We save this. It runs twice. Oh, because I don't know why. Because let's reload this. And yeah, it's running every time. That is interesting that it ran twice. So when I see this on click equals dad joke, it's not executing it immediately. This is executing it immediately. I don't like that, but I can possibly live with it for now. Let's go ahead and get rid of this component that we're not using anymore. And let's actually hit the dad joke API. We can figure out why it's running twice in a minute. Dad jokes API. Yes. It is on there, and I got to pass an accept header. So we will quickly comment out the static thing and make this async, and surely that won't break things. Let response equals await fetch, and then headers, and then it is accept application.json, and I'm pretty sure it returns it. Let's see, let result equals await rest.json, and we'll console.log this. I forget where in the data is returned. It had probably .joke. Oh, thank you, giant advertisement. Let's go back here. Oh, that's interesting. I built an infinite loop somehow, and I'm hitting rate limiting. Okay. We will stop that right now before I make the API angry at me. What the actual heck happened there? It's still running infinitely. Oh, well, yeah, let me comment everything out. And let's bring this back. what in the actual heck? Async await is not supported in client components, only server components. Surely, this error is often caused by accidentally adding a used client to a module that was originally written for the server. Surely, I can do an AJAX call in my component, right? There's no way that something that simple couldn't be done in a client-side application. Well, let's go to Google, or if we can ask ChatGPT. You know what? I will ask Gemini. Sign in. Give me a second. I'll do this off screen so y'all don't have to see. Just logging in here. 1 second. Yes, it's me. Let me into Gemini. Let me in. Hold on, I'm still logging in. I recently switched to Chrome as my main profile here. Let's bring this back in. All right. All right. In React, how do I make it's called AJAX, HTTP call in a component? Primarily, yes, I use the fetch component. And it's using something called use effect. I am not going to rage quit. I'm not. But those of you in the audience who have used React, like, have I done something stupid to assume that a button just can't call something that happens to be async? Let's maybe make it more broad. Hold on. Why can't I use an async function in React? The inability to directly use an async function within React use effect hood stems from the React's expected return type. I don't even know what use effect is yet in React. And Sue is saying you have to do it the React way. Well, shoot, let's go back to the docs and see if there's anything about anything asynchronous in this. So describing the UI, yeah, I'm not doing markup. They already talked about conditional stuff, so I don't think there's anything in UI. Adding interactivity. We talked about events. But I'm still not seeing anything async now. But we'll keep looking. Like, I feel like events would be where you would potentially do things that are, asynchronous. All right. So far, nothing. Stopping propagation. These are all event important stuff. But at the same time, can event handlers have side effects? Yes. All right. But so there's nothing in here about an event that can be asynchronous. I know it's not going to be state. I understand what state is doing, but we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything with state. Like, I'm not keeping the joke around. Not really doing managing state and escape hatches. What the heck does that mean? Some examples may need to control and synchronize with systems outside of React. Well, an API would be a system outside of React. I sure as heck would not have called it escape hatches. But you know, use ref where you like. I feel like making an Ajax call with like, oh, this is just all right. How about this? How, or we'll go back to Gemini. Yeah, I guess I asked that already. Like, I do not want to just copy this from Gemini. Like, I have confidence that this is probably going to work. But at the same time, I don't think that I want to do it. And I'm not even like, that's maybe, how about this? How do I make a HTTP call to an API in React? I'm not even saying in a component, just keeping it. Yeah, and Sue, I definitely see your comment. And I've heard of hooks. I'm just, again, trying to take this like a new user who's me, take this as it would be. So yes, you're probably using Fetch or Axios. Here's a basic request, and they're using effect. So I guess I want to ask then is what is effect? So I see they're making their fetch call, blah, blah, blah. They're using the state management to set data. Like I get that part. And then they're referencing data in there. So this is all state. So my question is then, why do I need use effect for a asynchronous type thing? Like in theory, I should be able to like say joke equals an empty string, and then after the API call is done, set it to a real value. So let's ask Gemini, why do I need use effect? You need use effect to React for performing side effects and functional components. What are side effects? Components' primary job is to render UI based on prop state. However, sometimes components need to interact with things outside of their own rendering logic. These are called side effects. So they include making API calls in there. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we will use state. So let's go ahead and bring that in. Don't think I need to import React though, but I don't think it'll break anything. And then we will. I'm not going to worry about the loading and error messages. That would make sense, obviously, for anything doing something Ajax related. But I will copy and paste their code. I'm going to keep get dad joke external if I can, and see if I can keep this in here. Maybe. So within use effect, I wonder if, oh, Lord. All right. What if I just say in use effect call get dad joke? And I won't make it asynchronous because they didn't have an await for them. We'll save it. I won't have a dad joke, but let's see if it, at least it's not going crazy in terms of erroring out. Well, we have an error, but let's reload. Invalid hook call, host can only be called inside of the body of app of a function component. All right, so I have to be in app.j. I am. All right, so I was trying to keep that joke external. Screw it. We won't do that. We will do exactly as they had it. Fetch data. Oops, fetch data. Does that make the error go away? invalid hook calls, inside of the body of a function component. That's what I'm doing. I have it in the side. Oh, needs to be inside of app. I'm just throwing crap together and we are seeing, yeah, I guess it needs to be within my function app. Okay. Oh, I love React. I love it. And yes, we're going to need data for data. They're just calling it data. It's fine with me. Set data. Set data. It's wow. No, why are you suggesting all this? Yeah, okay. So in theory, that's going to work just fine. I'm not using get dad joke, but let's see. I got rid of the error at least. Oh man. It is just, this is just great. Async await is not. Let's get rid of all. Well, no, let's. This is incredibly frustrating. This may be my only session on this. Oh, you know what? I did have these guys here that I'm not using. And let's see what that did. Nothing. What the actual heck? Async await is not React DOM. And an error occurred considering, let's maybe not load it initially. Let's keep it tied to this. Again, I'm just making it, I think, closer and closer to what they had. I did have that call to get dad joke in there. Let's, okay, oh my God, it didn't break. All right. So let's copy and paste this joke, this portion. We're not using Axios. That should have broken immediately, but I don't care. Just drop this in. Keep that like that. And let's see if this is even. So in theory, this should be running. This should be when my application, let me get my tabbing correct here. So when this launches, it should hit. And we will just set results like that. In theory, this should load. This should call the dad joke API. Objects are not valid as a React child. That's, yeah, no, I can get that. I want to set result.joke. That's the actual string. I'll just console that. So we'll set that. I think we may have it. I think we may. Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. That was wonky. That was painful. I'm at an hour too. So I guess one more thing to do would be to run this again, but I'm not sure how I would call this as an event. Like how would I rerun fetch data? You know what? Let's, for the heck of it, just put this here, fetch data, and let's see what happens. If that works, nope, I broke it. Fetch data is not defined. Yeah, yeah, we didn't get the simple application done, but we got something. That was really, really painful. Let me bring this back over here. Oh, nope, let's not do that. Let's unhide this. Let's hide this, not unhide. So that was at an hour. That was painful. Now, admittedly, React is powerful and complex, and I had just an hour. Like that's not necessarily fair for me to say like it did anything wrong. But that was not fun. but I think maybe I'm approaching something. So I think we'll do one more session of this. Um, I want to get that button working so I can rerun that. Sue, Sue, it gets worse before it gets better. You are not making me like happy about this or making me motivated to do this. Well, we will give this one more session. I think we have a set of open questions that I want to research. Like, hey, what do these files mean? And I really want to understand this use effect thing. It feels so like overly complex for what I was doing. But y'all send me feedback, send me email. I think for the next session, we'll focus on just possibly getting the dad joke API done, and we'll maybe consider doing routing. Like, I don't have a month to get into this. A month of streams like this, I will pull my hair out. Anyway, thank you all for the feedback. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, what was it, Eric and Vidya. Thank you all for the feedback and all that. Hope you found this entertaining while I was going through pain. And we will be back. Um, we'll be back March 18th. That should be a Tuesday. So I hope to see you there. Thank you all again. Stay safe and have a good rest of your week. Bye.